Hello, everyone. Welcome to Arts Class and Everything in Between. Hello, my name is Eileen, aka the Little Crafter, and with me I have Preston Mendez, or as we like to call him, Mr. Texas.
Mr. Texas, yes.
Mr. Texas.
I almost forgot about that name.
And today's topic is about long distance relationship, and Mr. Menendez has the honor and privilege of dating my sister, so that kind of makes him obligated. Nah, let me not, let me be nice. I'm just joshing over here. It has always been an interesting topic for me, and I figured, you and Nodes are such open-minded and fun people to talk to, that I thought that this would be a really fun opportunity to find out from somebody's perspective, because I've never been in one. I've heard, good stories, and I've heard of horror stories, and so far this one is a good story. So, by the way, congratulations on making it 2 months. I saw the wonderful gift you sent Noda. That was wonderful. Made me cry. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, so my first question to you is, how did you two meet?
Well, we actually grew up in church together.
Mm-hmm.
We had dated when I was a freshman in high school.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically just a church relationship. Like, that's the only time we ever saw each other was at church.
Uh-huh.
And we were young, so things didn't work out then. And when we first started talking again, her Facebook got hacked, actually. And I realized it and commented on it so she'd get a notification to know that it was hacked.
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking and never stopped.
Wow. Gotta love Facebook. Gotta love Facebook. Okay. My next question is, do you think that the reason why this relationship is mended or continues so well through your faith, or is it because you guys are such strong-willed, committed people that this is what you want? I'm not saying that it's, heading down the altar or anything, but how do you think that you guys are so well connected? Like, what do you think is the glue to this?
I think that our past definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we felt very strongly about each other back then.
Mm-hmm.
And those feelings, I can't say they've never faded, but she never left my mind.
Aww. I'm sorry.
Don't make me blush.
Sorry. Oh my God, you're making me. Oh. Okay, go ahead. My apologies.
No, it's fine. I think the fact that, she never really left my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got the opportunity to talk to her again,
Mm.
I kind of just made up my mind that I wasn't going to let this go without a fight.
Aww.
So I decided that we were going to go ahead and try with the long distance relationship.
Wow, wow, wow. And that is amazing. So how do you keep that? Like, I know that, because basically you're saying that, this is the one, and not saying, like, I'm not hinting at marriage or anything like that, but how do you say in your mind, okay, this is the one that I want to be with, and that I am not going to look at, I'm not saying that I'm not going to, accuse you of anything, but for some men, think in a general sense that they're not going to look at another woman in that same way as they look at their significant other. And how do you control that? Like, what is that feeling? I mean, because I know when you're in proximity to one another, it's different. But how do you keep that, that no, I'm not going to do that?
I think that what keeps me in that and keeps me from, wanting to look at anybody else or anything like that
Mm-hmm.
is, well, I'm a very faithful person. Like, if I'm with somebody,
Okay.
I'm with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that obviously definitely helps a lot.
Uh-huh.
But also it's knowing that, like I said, this is something that I'm not going to give up on trying for.
Okay, I gotcha. No, that's
So I feel like, since I feel like it's if it's worthy of me fighting for it, then it's worthy of me making sure that it's just her that I look at that way.
yeah, no, I definitely understand because I am myself married, and it is odd to me that my husband will break his neck more for a car than any other woman. Because I've heard women tell me even when they're married, oh, my husband, I caught him, like I'm not saying that he doesn't do it every now and again, but I out of like I don't know how many times he'll break his neck before he'll look at another woman like that. So I can totally relate to that. So do you how do you keep the romance? How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it, alive, and how do you fight that loneliness that the person is not there when you need their company or something like that?
Well, we talk a lot. A lot.
Okay.
Like we talk most of the day,
Aw.
and then late at night.
Mm.
But I mean, that loneliness is always there. It's definitely hard to be so far away when all I want to do is be able to hold her
Mm.
and be next to her. So it's definitely difficult. But what I do personally is I always try to look towards the future.
Ah.
I'm lonely now, and I'm missing her now, but I know I'm going to see her in a couple months.
Oh, okay.
So looking towards the next visit helps me get through the times that I'm not with her.
Okay. And do you think that like the activities that you do without her help? Like you're working, you're going to school, and I hear that you have a daughter. I'm sorry if.
Yeah, yes,
How old is she, by the way?
she's three.
She's how old?
Three.
3? Oh my God. I can't wait to meet her. Oh my God. I hope I do. I hope I do. I love kids. I have a son. He's 11. And you've met him online before. You've seen him and know there's always probably talking
Yeah, I've seen
about
him.
Mr. Dez. Ay, ay, ay. So, and I know that Nilda has a son who is all my nieces and nephews are my pride and joy, and I'm honored to be a part of their lives. But how do you think that, and being so far apart, how is that a hindrance, and how is that a blessing? I guess.
Well, I mean, work and school is both a hindrance and a blessing. You can look. It depends on how you look at it. Depends
Mm-hmm.
on how you're feeling that day.
Yeah. No.
Like
Mm-hmm.
some days, I don't want to be at work or I don't want to be at school because I'd much rather either be with her or at least talking to her if I can't be with her.
No, I gotcha.
But then at the same time, I try to always look at it as I'm furthering myself and getting better so that when we are together, when I do move up there, I can go get a job. Eventually, it will happen. Yes, I see that look on your face.
Yeah.
But
Good.
when I do eventually move up there, I'll have more experience under my belt. I'll have
Mm-hmm.
another degree under my belt, and I can move forward and better myself. And I feel like me bettering myself in the long run, no matter who it is that I end up with, and of course, I would love for it to be Nilda.
Hint, hint.
But I mean, no matter what, I'm trying to better myself for my future wife.
No, I gotcha. I understand. It is important to think about the future, whether it would be with Nilza or somebody else. Whoever has you in their corner is very lucky because that's a wonderful mindset, and it's not easy to have, especially younger people. And may I ask how old you are? I'm terribly sorry if that's not a question.
That's fine. I'm 27.
Wow. And Nilza told me that you were in the army.
Yes.
How long were you there for?
I was in the Army for 2.5 years and got out on a medical discharge.
Oh, okay. So do you also think that being part of the military also helps you with that mindset, or do you think that you've always had that kind of mindset? And
Um, I've always had that kind of mindset. Um, my thing has always been to look towards the future
mm-hmm.
because I've went through a lot of times in the present or my present at that time
Yeah.
where it wasn't great times.
No,
I was going through a lot. So I feel like looking towards the future is always a plus because, things can always get better.
Yeah, no, that. I could definitely relate to that, looking to the future and trying to better yourself for, whatever it is that you want to do is extremely important and a positive thing. So you've turned the negative into something very positive, and now, you're trying to put, even though it is kind of weird to have a long distance relationship all the way from New York to Texas, you're trying to put a positive spin on it, which is awesome. So what are you studying, if you don't mind me asking?
I go to ITT Tech. Studying information and cybersecurity.
Wow.
So basically, I'm learning how to hack to be able to stop hackers.
Ooh, good, because we're all, not that we're always getting hacked, but one of our accounts are like, ugh, ugh. If it's not Nilda's Facebook, it's my Yahoo account, or I think last week one of my friends had their whatchamacallit account hacked. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, so yeah, it is kind of crazy, but that is good. So have the families blended and met? I mean, I've known. Oh, excuse me. See, you're not the only one said, right? I know that you have met Mello, and you guys are really really cool. It looked awesome. I was having fun watching that. It made me want to be there and watch you guys in person. But I know that is your time with her. How do you think that your little girl is feeling with Noza? Because I know that blended extended families and stuff like that is very hard because especially at that age, because it's like, oh, I want mommy and daddy, but unfortunately mommy and daddy can't be together. So I mean, how are you guys handling that, if you don't mind me asking? If it's the two subjects.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a tricky subject.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's still a little too young to really understand what's going on.
Okay.
Like she still hasn't grasped the fact that she doesn't live with me anymore. She lives only with her mom.
Oh,
so
okay.
there will be times that she'll still be asking when she's gonna come home, and it's definitely tough. But I mean, I know that for me, because I grew up in a household with only my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Now it happened. My parents split up before I really knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I never really lived with my dad. I always only lived with my mom. So
Yeah.
It was a little different for me. But I still did go through the stage where I wanted my parents to be together. My father was still a part of my life for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know that it's going to be hard, but I know that with my stepfather and how things went with me and him, I know that it can work. And as long as, the kids have support, no matter who it is that's supporting them, as long as they have that support there, they'll be able to get through it okay.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you with that. I think there's a lot of questions that, people ask, like, how do you deal with, because you hear those things of, oh, I wouldn't date him because he has kids, or I wouldn't date her because she has kids. But, in the end, everybody needs somebody. And, if you're not going to step up to the plate, then, somebody who's going to step up to the plate and be supportive of their life and their children. I'm not saying to take the role of mom or dad. Just be a friend and be supportive of their relationship, And that's a really good thing to think about. And I hope that, I know things are going to go well, because I know Noza, and I know that, she's great with kids. She's amazing. And I've learned a lot from her. As young as she is, I'm always learning from her. And so, if you're listening to this, I love you. And I've always learned a lot, especially during my pregnancy. She was holding my hand through the whole thing when I was sick, through the whole 9 months. If she hasn't told you the story, she's just amazing. No, oh my God. Okay, really quick. When I was pregnant, my pregnancy was horrible. Whole 9 months. Throughout the pregnancy, I was really sick and in the hospital, and every time either I was in the hospital or at home sick, Noza would come and visit me. And literally one day she just came over and she held my hand and helped me, and it was just amazing. Like I still think about it and I want to tear up, because she was just amazing, because everybody else in my family was unable to be there for me, and she stepped up, and it just made me feel appreciated, that she has that compassion and that caring in her, that is just warm and just wonderful to see, so.
Oh, I see it all the time.
I know. So what would you say to young people or anybody in general? What would you say to them about long distance relationship? What is your number one best advice that you can give them?
Number one best advice, in my opinion, of course.
Of course,
Just
it's
my
just your
opinion.
opinion. Yeah, no, awesome.
But my opinion is, if it's somebody that you really care about, or if it's somebody that you feel like you could grow to care about, give it a chance. I mean, the worst that happens is you guys don't work out. You move on with your life. But if you don't give it that chance, then you can live. You can live with the thought of what would have happened if I would have talked to this person, or what would have happened if I would have gave the long distance a try. And you never know, that could be the one that you were ultimately made for, and pass it up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Preston, for joining me, Mr. Texas. I will not stop calling you that even when you do decide to move over here. I love that nickname. Everybody has a nickname over here. Whether it's the mechanic, the crafter, everybody. Or the Hello Kitty freak, as they call me sometimes. But I just want to tell you that I really appreciate you taking the time out to do this interview, and it was really interesting and fun, and it was wonderful to finally get to meet you.
I agree. My pleasure.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully we'll catch you next week, and hopefully next week we will have another perspective on long distance relationship. Alright guys, bye for now.